Hello everybody, my name is Eric D. Johnson, also known as BrightShine. I live right here in the city of Memphis, in the county, in the state of Tennessee. Today's date is early Sunday morning, August the 23rd, 2020. And the time is 4:50 a.m. First, I thank all my family, my support for your continued courage and support. I continue to keep myself employed right here in the Memphis tri-state area and continue to further my education at Marlboro College online. I continue to pursue my social degree study in business administration, concentration marketing. At the present time, I've taken a break from going to school, but in the very near future, I will be going back to Marlboro College online to continue to pursue my social degree study in business administration, concentration marketing. And as you know, past few weeks, I've been continuing to protest, continue to speak out, continue to be an advocate for Mr. Sam Cooke. Now, being online, of course, but I always knew that it was unjust decision that was made in the courtroom, and like I said, I was watching those documentaries on Mr. Sam Cooke's life, and I just knew that it was wrong. Not only what the criminal Bertha Lee Franklin had done, and it was things that were done on the street that was wrong, and it was wrong what the people in the government did. You understand? Certain individuals in the government, they call themselves getting a job working in the government, and then they try to use the position that they have in the government in the wrong way. People try to criticize the whole government, where the whole government does not violate civil rights and constitutional rights. It be individuals working in the government, and it can be local, like the city and the county. It can be the state, it can be the federal. You understand? But it be individuals working in a position in the government who misuse their position. You understand? And influence, and violate civil rights, constitutional rights, human rights. They do wrong, and that what happened in this Mr. Sam Cooke's murder case is that you had individuals in the government, in the court, and possibly in the police department, you understand, and so on and so forth. As a matter of fact, the coroner worked for the state, didn't really just do what's right in the ruling, talking about some justifiable homicide, and then you got a police officer sitting on the stand, on the witness stand, talking about penal code, some penal code, and it's wrong. It's wrong. Like I said, I'm gonna keep on saying, and not just on it, but I make sure I try to help Mr. Sam Cooke's wife, widow, Miss Barbara Campbell Cooke, as well as their two beautiful daughters, Linda and Tracy, as well as Mr. Sam Cooke's other children, all of Mr. Sam Cooke's. As you know, at the time of Mr. Sam Cooke's murder, his mother and father were still alive. All of Mr. Sam Cooke's sister and brothers, and all his nieces and nephews. I tried to show them that with the court documents that it was wrong. It is wrong what they had done, and that there is a remedy to the wrong. You don't have to sit out on the street or sit in your house and just cry and just wish that that's not how the court works. There was a time in America when the judicial system was just full of white people using the government, what they, you can say systemic racism, but all the racism, the prejudice, the bigotry, you understand? And it's wrong. It's wrong. And there's no reason for anyone to think that you can get away with committing a crime like that, regardless how many years have passed. It's wrong. And the family don't have anything to worry about. I'm going to keep on showing the family that it's wrong. And they can go to court and rectify the wrong that's been done. Like I said, I was online and I went to Celebrity Archive and purchased the court documents from the coroner's inquest for $25. And those court documents, those are the official court documents from the coroner's inquest. That is evidence. That's evidence. And as I've been going over the coroner's inquest, the ruling that was made, it's very obvious that it was wrong what the people in the courtroom did. It was wrong that Mr. Sam Cooke was murdered, and it was wrong what this criminal Bertha Lee Franklin done, including the people at the motel, based on the evidence in the court documents. The owners of that motel, the Cards, Evelyn Card, and her husband, you understand, based on the murder of Mr. Sam Cooke. It was wrong what they had done. They got this unqualified woman, Bertha Lee Franklin, in this manager's position, claiming that she's a manager, claiming that she's been a manager for 3 years and all this. You're a damn criminal. That's all it is. And see, people do things like that so that they have these unqualified people because they don't want to pay nobody. Because see, if you had somebody in a position as a manager position with a bachelor's degree, and then you got Bertha Lee Franklin, how much money you going to have to pay the person with the bachelor's degree, and how much money you going to have to pay Bertha Lee Franklin to be a manager? With a person with the bachelor's degree, they know what the salary for a manager is, especially somebody with a bachelor's degree. Now you can sit around talking about, well, I got 3 years of experience. That's you could have had 10 years of experience. You could have had 20 years of experience as a manager. You can have somebody with 0 experience and a person with 20 years of experience. You got a bachelor's degree. The person with the bachelor's degree gonna earn more money than a person with 20 years of experience plus the education. The education. See? And so, like I said, I purchased the court documents, the coroner's inquest from Mr. Sam Cooke's murder case, and from Celebrity Archive for $25, and the evidence is overwhelming that it's a bunch of criminals in the courtroom. Not only is it a criminal that murdered Mr. Sam Cooke, Bertha Lee Franklin, but it's criminals in the courtroom. You understand? And then you're gonna sit up there and talk about Sam Cooke said after you shot Mr. Sam Cooke, talking about he said, "Lady, you shot me." Then you're gonna sit up here and talk about Mr. Sam Cooke continued to attack me or tried to come at me, so I hit him in the head with a stick. The man, Mr. Sam Cooke, got a gunshot wound to both lungs and his heart. I mean, who you think you talking to? I mean, playtime is over. It's time for the general public to wake up and to see the wrong that's been done. How the hell Mr. Sam Cooke got a gunshot wound to both lungs and his heart? And you talking about he said, "Lady, you shot me." And you talking about he kept coming at me, so I picked up a stick after I shot Mr. Sam Cooke, and then I hit him in the head with a stick. The man got a gunshot wound to both lungs and his heart. What time? It's 5 o'clock. Oh. Now these are just a few of the free logo design websites. You can go to my anti-gang logo. I want you to remember these words: coercion, sexual coercion, psychological manipulation, psychological abuse. Now, like I said, these are the official court documents from the coroner's inquest in Mr. Sam Cooke's murder case. These are official court documents. So, like I said, there's no reason for Miss Barbara Kimball Cook, for Miss Linda Tracy, all the nieces and nephews, all of Mr. Sam Cooke's, the children, grandchildren, all the grandchildren. You don't have nothing to worry about. Don't never walk around and think that there's not a remedy for the wrong that's been done in the courtroom. Now, you might not know all the law. Like I said, like I've been saying, it's been people who've been put in jail. It's been people who've been, not only people that go to jail, it's been people that have gone into a civil court, criminal court. They defended themselves. They represent themselves in the court of law. And you can do that. You understand? You can represent yourself in the court of law. Simple as that. You don't have to have no law degree. You want to represent yourself, then represent yourself in the court of law. That's your right. Now, this is the verdict of the coroner's jury, state of California, county of Los Angeles, in the matter of the inquisition upon the body of Sam Cooke, deceased. Before the coroner of the county of Los Angeles, we the jurors summoned to appear before the coroner of Los Angeles County at room 150 Hall of Justice, Los Angeles, California, on the 16th day of December AD 1964 to inquire into the cause of death of Sam Cooke. Having been duly sworn according to law, having made such inquisition hearing the testimony adduced upon our oath, each and all do say that we find that the deceased was named Sam Cooke, a male, married, native of Mississippi, aged about 33 years, and that he came to his death on the 11th day of December 1964 at 9137 South Figueroa Avenue, Los Angeles County, California, and that this death was caused by gunshot wound of chest, perforating the heart and both lungs, with massive hemorrhaging inflicted by a gun in the hands of Bertha Franklin at 9137 South Figueroa Avenue, Los Angeles, California, after the deceased had made forcible entry. And from the testimony introduced at this time, we find this death to be justified homicide committed by the said Bertha Franklin, protecting her life and property. All of which we do to certify by this inquisition writing by us signed this 16th day of December 1964. As you can see, that's what I've been continually showing. There's no such thing as no justifiable homicide in Mr. Sam Cooke's murder case. There's no such thing. There's no such thing. There's no way in the world that a coroner could be sitting in the courtroom and you talking about Mr. Sam Cooke got a gunshot wound to both lungs and the heart, and you the coroner. And you talking about this woman sitting up on the stand talking about Mr. Sam Cooke said, "Lady, you shot me," and then you gonna sit up there and you the coroner of the state of California, and you talking about this woman is sitting on the witness stand claiming that Mr. Sam Cooke, after being shot and having a gunshot wound to both lungs and his heart, he kept coming at me. So I picked up a stick and hit him in the head. And you got a man in the courtroom that's the district attorney. The district attorney. And you sitting in the courtroom and you talking about this woman got into an altercation, got to tussling with Mr. Sam Cooke. And you the manager. You got to tussling with Mr. Sam Cooke. And then got some girl coming up in talking about Eliza Bowles coming up in the courtroom. Talking about you throw his pants in the garbage can. You stole his pants after you've been walking around. You was over at the bar, sitting in the bar, and all night you've been walking around talking about I want to go home. And you the district attorney. You was over at Martoni talking about I want to go home. Then you went over to PJ's talking about I want to go home. Then you got in the car driving down the street with Mr. Sam Cooke. Then you get over to the motel talking about I want to go home. He raped me. And you the district attorney. Mr. Sam Cooke. Man. Then you got this man sitting in the courtroom talking about he supposed to be representing Miss Barbara Campbell Cook. Talking about he supposed to be representing Miss Barbara Campbell Cook. Maycheck. Ineffective assistant counsel. You owe Miss Barbara Campbell Cook, get straight to the point. You owe Miss Barbara Campbell Cook a lot of money. Talking about the dope. What we gonna do now? We're gonna go to Instagram. After doing Instagram, we're gonna do Periscope. I said, I'm gonna do my Instagram. Then after I do my Instagram, it'll be about 5 minutes. Then we're gonna go straight to Periscope, and then we're gonna spend the majority of time on Periscope. We're gonna get back into Mr. Sam Cooke's murder case and continue to be an advocate for Mr. Sam Cooke and all his family, well friends. So let's go to Instagram. Hello everybody, my name is Eric D. Johnson, also known by BrightShine, right here in City Memphis in the County City and Stand Tennessee. Day is early Sunday morning, August the 23rd, 2020 at the time. 5:13 a.m. First, I thank all my family support for your continued courage support. Anti-gang. Now, these are just a few of the free logo design websites that you can go to make anti-gang logo. Now, remember these words: coercion, sexual coercion, psychological coercion, psychological manipulation, psychological abuse. First, I always give thanks to God for all the blessings and guidance that God provides us. Always put God first. Now, I'm going to continue to speak out. I'm going to continue to protest. I'm going to continue to be an advocate for Mr. Sam Cooke, who was murdered back in 1964. And the murder itself was wrong. Bertha Lee Franklin was a criminal. Bertha Lee Franklin is a criminal. And the people who own that motel, them a bunch of local criminals them damn selves. And then we had to deal with the people in the courtroom. And, in the government, the police department, the courtroom, and so on and so forth. And during that period of time, in the United States of America, America was a different place, a different time. There was no Voting Rights Act hadn't been passed. The Civil Rights Movement was really going on. It was still had Jim Crow laws all over the South, and America was different then, in 1964. And but the law is still the court. America is still here. The United States of America is still the United States of America. The state of California is still the state of California. The county of Los Angeles is still the county of Los Angeles. The city of Los Angeles is still the city of Los Angeles. You owe me Barbara Campbell Cook a lot of money. Get straight to the point. We can deal with all the motions and briefs and all that other court documents, filing all that, and ineffective assistance of counsel. We can deal with all that in the courtroom, but when you get straight to the point, you owe me Barbara Campbell Cook a lot of money. Simple as that. Get straight to the point. We can go over all the facts of the case, the formalities and all that. But when you get straight to the point, you owe me Barbara Campbell Cook a lot of money. Now, these are the official court documents from the coroner's inquest back in December 1964. And these are official court documents. These are official court documents. See, you have to understand one thing. You don't have to worry about no deadlines and all that. This is the United States of America. There's always a legal remedy for the wrong that's been done in the courtroom. And so, Miss Barbara Campbell Cook, as well as Mr. Sam Darrell, Mr. Sam Cook and Miss Barbara Campbell Cook, and two beautiful daughters, Lynn and Tracy, as well as all the children, grandchildren, the nieces and nephews, all the family and friends. There's always a legal remedy in the court of law. And just because you may not have no law degree, like I've been saying, you have to always remember there have been times people have actually gone to a civil court, criminal court, and had to represent themselves. I mean, sometimes you see it on television. I mean, there's a judge, and with some little TV shows on TV, where they got a judge in the courtroom, and you got one person standing on one side, and then you got the other person standing on the other side. It's still a court of law. Small claim, what they call a small claims court. When two people be standing on one, you got one person on one side and one person on the other side. Small claims court. It's still a court of law. See, it's still a court of law. And then, so that's a small claims court. Then you have a civil court, criminal court. So whatever ruling was made back in December 1964, there's a legal remedy for that ruling. Oh yeah, there's a legal remedy for that ruling. You owe Miss Barbara Campbell Cook a lot of money. Now I purchased copies of the courtroom documents of that coroner's inquest from Celebrity Archive for $25. And I've been going over these documents. I'm going to continue to go over these documents because I know that it's wrong. And that's what I'll continue to protest about, continue to speak out, and continue to be an advocate for Mr. Sam Cook in a court of law. It's wrong what they done. It's wrong. And there is a legal remedy. Now this is the verdict of the coroner's jury, the state of California, the county of Los Angeles, in the matter of the inquisition upon the body of Sam Cook, deceased, before the coroner of the county of Los Angeles. We, the jurors, summoned to appear before the coroner of Los Angeles County at room 150, Hall of Justice, Los Angeles, California, on the 16th day of December 18, 1964, to inquire into the cause of death of Sam Cook, having been duly sworn according to law, and having made such inquisition and hearing the testimony adduced upon our oaths, each and all do say that we find that the deceased was named Sam Cook, a male, married, native of Mississippi, aged about 33 years, and that he came to his death on the 11th day of December 1964, 9137 South Figueroa Avenue, Los Angeles County, California. That this And then this death was caused by gunshot wound to the chest, perforating heart and both lungs, with massive hemorrhage inflicted by a gun in the hands of Bertha Franklin at 9137 South Figueroa Avenue, Los Angeles, California, after the deceased had made forcible entry from the testimony introduced at this time. We find the death to be justifiable homicide committed by the said Bertha Franklin protecting her life and property, all of which we duly certified by the Inquisition and writing by us signed this 16th day of December 1964. Now we know that this is wrong. And so, as I stated, these are official court documents from the coroner's inquest, and this is the state of California. These are official court documents. There is a legal remedy to the unjust ruling that was made in 1964. You owe Miss Barbara Campbell Cook a lot of money. Get straight to the point. Oh yeah, it's a legal remedy. Miss Barbara Campbell Cook don't have to sit down on the street and think that there's not a legal remedy. Oh yeah. You can't have no coroner sitting up in the courtroom and we just read the verdict. And then talking about Mr. Sam Cook got a gunshot wound to both lungs and his heart. And you the coroner of the state of California. And you got a district attorney sitting in the courtroom at the coroner's inquest. Talking about we made a ruling, justifiable homicide. And Miss Barbara Campbell Cook got an attorney sitting in the courtroom representing her. And you gonna sit there and let the jury make a ruling like this without objecting based on all the testimony that, and you're not ineffective assistant counsel. Ineffective assistant counsel. And some more. And some more things gonna be brought up. But definitely ineffective assistant counsel. And so I'm not gonna spend too much time on Instagram because I'm gonna go on Periscope, and we're gonna go into detail like I've been doing, and we're gonna continue to go into detail. And Mr. Sam Cook will get justice in the courtroom, as well as all the family and friends. Cause see, this here is wrong. It's wrong, and there is a legal remedy. So it ain't no reason to be sitting around. That's read why I'm doing what I'm doing. Because you ain't gonna sit around and think that I'm sitting around letting you get. No, you ain't getting away with it. But I know that over the years, Ms. Barbara Campbell Cook had, some people, feel like they apprehensive about the courtroom. You understand? Feel like they don't know the law. I don't have a law degree either. But I have general knowledge of the law. I watch TV too. You hear legal terms on television. You done heard people being read their rights on television. That's right. When you watch some of these police shows, what do they show you? They show you what the police supposed to do. Like read you your rights. They supposed to do that. Because in America, they went to court about it. It's a court ruling about that. Miranda rights. That's the reason why they call it the Miranda rights. Because the Miranda, when they keep saying Miranda rights, it's a court case. It's a court case. And because of that court case, police departments all around the United States, federal, state, and local, they have to read you your Miranda rights. It's a law. They done throw how many court cases in federal, state, and local have been dismissed in a court of law because they did not read you your Miranda rights. See, this is the United States of America. So don't think for 1 minute that you're gonna make an unjust ruling in a court of law and then gonna sell time. You're gonna try to tell me about a deadline. Are you crazy? You know damn well there ain't no deadline. It's a legal remedy. Oh yeah. So you owe me Barbara Campbell Cook a lot of money. Now these are just a few of the free logo design websites that you can go to make anti-gang logos. Now I'm gonna get ready to end my Instagram video, and like I said, after I end my Instagram video, I'm gonna do my Periscope video. So like I said, always put God first. Always put God first, and it will be justice for Mr. Sam Cooke in a court of law. Now, I just ended my Instagram video, so now I'm doing my Periscope video. Hello everybody. My name is Eric D. Johnson, also known by BrightShine, right here in the city of Memphis, and the county seat is in the state of Tennessee. The day and date is early. It's early Sunday morning, August the 23rd, 2020 time, 5:33 a.m. First, I thank all my family, my support for your continued courage and support. Anti-gang. Anti-gang. These are just a few of the free logo design websites that you can go to make anti-gang logo. Remember these words: coercion, coerce, sexual coercion, psychological manipulation, psychological abuse. First, always give thanks to God for all the blessings and the guidance that God provides us always. Always put God first. Always put God first. Now I just ended my Instagram video, and now I'm doing my Periscope video, and my YouTube channel is recording, and so over the past few weeks I've been continuing to protest and continue to speak out about the unjust ruling in the Sam Cooke murder case. I'm going to continue to be an advocate for Mr. Sam Cooke because it was wrong. There's no such thing as nowhere in the United States of America or U.S. territory, really on this earth, because basically all the people on this earth have a government now. I mean, everyone, they don't, we don't all have the standard of living, same standard of living, but basically all the people living on this earth have a government. You understand? National government, as well as the international government, like the United Nations. And so, and as you know, the United Nations, on the first, foundation that was laid by the League of Nations. Now, Mr. Sam Cooke's murder case, this is the United States of America. Now, this 2020, the year 2020, at the time Mr. Sam Cooke's death, back in December 1964, America was different. There was a lot of racism and prejudice and bigotry, you understand, Jim Crow laws, and here it is. I'm in the state of Tennessee, in the city of Memphis. This is the place where Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated, right here in the city of Memphis, at the Lorraine Motel. And now the Lorraine Motel is a National Civil Rights Museum, and so. This is, like I said, America was a different time in December 1964. And the Emmett Till case, murder case, it took some years, but it was like 30 years later, the people who were originally brought into the courtroom back in the 1960s, and who had been acquitted of the murder of Mr. Emmett Till. Years later, those same individuals that had been brought into the court of law, into the state of Mississippi, and were convicted in the state of Mississippi, and now in jail. They're in jail. So in Mr. Sam Cooke's in Mr. Sam Cooke's murder case, it was an unjust ruling made. You understand? Back in December 1964. The circumstances of the case, like many court cases, I mean, Bertha Franklin, the criminal Bertha Franklin, tried to get out of it, and the people at the motel who owned the motel, the Cards, Evelyn Card and her husband, basically did the same thing. That's basically what they were doing. They were trying to get out of it. So they the people in the courtroom also committed a crime. The coroner for the state of California asking the witness on the witness stand, the police officer, the investigating police officer, Mr. Thomas, what penal code does this fall up under and all this? Mr. Maychick supposed to be representing Ms. Barbara Campbell Cook, Mr. Sam Cook's widow at the time, his wife now, Ms. Barbara Campbell Cook, didn't object to the justifiable homicide being brought up, because the case is not no justifiable homicide. Excuse me. Excuse me. It's not no justifiable homicide. It's first degree murder. First degree murder. And I purchased a copy of Mr. Sam Cooke's autopsy, the coroner's inquest, from Celebrity Archive for $25. So like I said, these are official court documents. These are official court documents from, and when I say court, the coroner's inquest, the coroner of the state of California, that is the court. These are official court documents. That coroner's inquest is the court. The verdict or the coroner's jury, the state of California, the county of Los Angeles, in the matter of the inquisition upon the body of Sam Cooke deceased before the coroner of the county of Los Angeles. We, the jury, summoned to appear before the coroner of Los Angeles, coroner of Los Angeles County, at room 150 Hall of Justice, Los Angeles, California, on the 16th day of December AD in 1964 to inquire into the cause of death of Sam Cooke, having been duly sworn according to law and having made such inquisition, hearing the testimony adduced upon our oath, each and all do say that we find that the deceased was named Sam Cooke, a male married, native of Mississippi, aged about 33 years, and then he came to his death on the 11th day of December 1964 at 9137 South Figueroa Avenue, Los Angeles County, California, that this death was caused by a gunshot wound of chest perforating the heart and both lungs with massive hemorrhage inflicted by a gun in the hands of Bertha Franklin at 9137 South Figueroa Avenue, Los Angeles, California, after the deceased had made forcible entry. And from the testimony introduced at this time, we find this death to be justifiable homicide committed by the said Bertha Franklin in protection of life and property. All of which we duly certified by this inquisition writing by us signed this 1964. By us signed this 16th day of December 1964. So as you can see, this was wrong. As you can see, when you read the verdict, and it says the gunshot wound was caused by a gunshot wound of the chest. And this is the coroner's inquest. It was both lungs, a gunshot wound with chest perforating the heart, and both lungs. How you gonna tell you the coroner? You the coroner. And you're going to sit there and tell people that this is a justifiable homicide. The man got a gunshot wound to both lungs and his heart. And he said, "Lady, you shot me." And after being shot, he continued to come at Bertha Lee Franklin. So you picked up a stick and hit him in the head with a gunshot wound to the chest, both lungs, and the heart. And you got a district attorney sitting in the courtroom. The district attorney. You act like you don't know what the word district attorney means. As if they don't have knowledge of a gunshot wound to both lungs, to the chest, both lungs, and heart. You the district attorney. You do have a law degree. How you gonna sit there and claim justified? Gonna say this is justifiable homicide? Talking about forcible entry. Talking about forcible entry. You the district attorney talking about it was forcible entry. And this is and Mr. Sam Cooke's murder was justifiable homicide because she was protecting life and property. What property? And whose life was in danger? A man walking around in his underwear at 3 o'clock in the morning at a motel with 0.14% alcohol in his bloodstream. And you gonna say this is a justifiable homicide? And talking about some girl running around with his pants, stole Mr. Sam Cooke's pants. And you the district attorney, and this is a justifiable homicide? And then you got a man sitting up in the courtroom talking he supposed to be representing Miss Barbara Campbell Cooke. the widow of Mr. Sam Cooke. Talking about you supposed to be representing Miss Barbara Campbell Cook, and you didn't object to the testimony. Ineffective assistant of counsel. Ineffective assistant of counsel. SAW Records. Mr. Sam Cooke record label. SAW Records. You make it sound like Mr. Sam Cooke a broke man or something. You make it sound like he ain't have a penny to his name. Mr. Sam Cooke wasn't broke for no man to be sitting up in the courtroom talking about Sam Cooke had been murdered and didn't have a penny to his name. That man had riding around in a Ferrari, and you sitting up there talking about his murder is a justifiable homicide. How you gonna tell me that Barbara Campbell Cook did, and the man riding around in a Ferrari and got some stupid girl named Lisa Bozo talking about I want to go home? Man, get straight to the point. There is a legal remedy. See, it's understandable that a person could think that, you know, when you go into a court, like, I don't have a law degree, so I don't understand. See, Ms. Barbara Campbell Cook, see, you don't have to be afraid. That's the reason why I do the things. That's the reason why I continue. I had to get a copy of this court document myself, because like it says in the court of law, the public has a right to know. It's public knowledge. It's public knowledge. So, I purchased, like I said, a copy of Mr. Sam Cooke's autopsy, the coroner's inquest from Celebrity Archive for $25. Ain't no justifiable. This is not a justifiable homicide. It's first-degree murder. You got a district attorney sitting up in the courtroom, and you got a person, some man named Maychick, who representing Miss Barbara Campbell Cook, and a coroner for the state of California. Now, it's understandable that a person could be apprehensive about the court of law, but like I say, we deal with the law all the time on television, TV shows. But then, like Hollywood, but then you have these real shows, like these investigative reporters shows, like 2020, 48 Hours. They deal with the law all the time. They investigate murders all the time. It'd be a lot of other shows that come on and they deal with the law all the time, including journalists. That's the law too. When you put things on television, that's the law. And then think about some of these court shows that come, 30-minute court shows like People's Court and all. See people going to a court of law, small claims court, that's what they call small claims court, where you and your next door neighbor got to argue about the property line or something. Somebody's cut the grass and or something. Small claims court. Y'all got into an altercation, some mess out there on the street, and then you got all this stuff like what was that show? Maury Povey's show. You Are the Father. They come up in there with the DNA test, but see, that's still the law. You can't make no man pay child support in this day and time. You got to have You know what I mean? You know, back in the 1960s, it wasn't no DNA. Now here it is, 2020. That's all you hear is DNA. You can't even, you know what I'm saying? It's standard procedure now. You cannot have a paternity or a child in the little, you know, when a child first born at the hospital and the little babies be in the, what they call them, incubators. All them little babies in the incubator got a birth certificate. But you know what else they got? They got DNA. You can't even leave the hospital without saying who the father is. That's the day and time we live in. But see, that's the law. They don't want no child to be born into this world that don't know who their dad is. Because somebody got to be responsible for this child. The mama had the baby, but the dad, you the dad, and y'all ain't married. All these, you know, out of wedlock children, your name gonna be on that birth certificate, I guarantee you. That girl ain't no woman finna walk up out no hospital talking about, you got no baby, who the baby daddy? Who? I bet his name gonna be on there. You the dad. We already know DNA. And you gonna pay this child support. State ain't finna pay. But see, that's the law. That's the law. See, that's the law. And so, same thing in Mr. Sam Cooke's murder case. It's the law. You watch, like you know, you watch a TV show, they had to read you your Miranda rights. But see, that's the court of law. They had to make a court. It ain't always been no Miranda rights. They had to go to court. That's the reason why they call it Miranda. It was a court case. Every time you hear somebody say Miranda rights, what's that? That's a court case. Somebody had to go to court about the police. And now it's the law. So I read, you know, I go over the facts of Mr. Sam Cooke's murder case to help Miss Barbara Campbell Cook, Lyndon Trace, and all the nieces, so it won't be any reason for you to think like I had to have anxiety, like it's something. No, the facts of the case. You ain't got to talk about that door no more. I already know what it was. So you put so much emphasis on the door when it really wasn't no, it really ain't no big issue in the court of law when you go on the facts of Mr. Sam Cooke murder case. But see, that's what it referred to. You tried to make it sound like that was the whole case, which it wasn't. But that's the way you made it sound, like that was what it was about. It wasn't even about no tearing down the door. That was just one instance in the whole situation. It was about that girl. Mr. Sam Cooke was making a big issue about this girl, Eliza Bose. Now, Mr. Sam Cooke had a little alcohol in his system, and irregardless of whatever it is, you know, about some girl he picked up at Mussolini's, what the name, Marco Polo's, Martoni's. Mr. Sam Cooke picked this girl up at this place, Martoni, and took her over to this motel. Okay. And this girl stole his pants. Mr. Sam Cooke was running around in his underwear with one shoe on. Now, do that sound like a man? And he had some alcohol, gonna try to force himself in there, trying to tear property up. No, the reason why Mr. Sam Cooke came over there didn't have anything to do with tearing no door down. He was looking for the girl. That's the facts of the case. Looking for the girl. You had a person who was unqualified in a position, Bertha Franklin, as the manager. Now, irregardless of how much experience you try to claim, you don't have no bachelor's degree. In a court of law, it does matter. Because when you have a manager that has a bachelor's degree, and then you have this person who started out on the job, you know, as a janitor, and then you worked your way up to be the manager of the motel. You understand? And so on and so forth. And so you, based on your experience, the owners of the motel gave you not only did they give you a raise, but they gave you a different position. Now you're not cleaning. Now you're not the cleaner lady no more. Now you're the manager. But see, your job description, it may say that you manage, but there's another manager with a bachelor's degree or a master's degree, PhD, so on and so forth. They know way more than you know, and they know damn well that the law, you're not above the law. And then Mr. Sam Cooke, that was wrong what you done. That was wrong what you did. It was wrong. And then all that stuff about the dope. See, like I've been showing you over and over again, when you say something like that, on the reason why I'm saying, we talking about the facts of the case. So when you say something about that dope, and Bertha Franklin was a manager, you were standing there, like I've been telling you over and over again. Mr. Sam Cooke, after forcing the door down, tearing the door down, he walked right past. He walked right past Bertha Franklin. Didn't even say anything to you when looking for that girl. See, in a court of law, it can be civil court, criminal court. They gonna mean the same thing. That's the reason why Barbara Campbell Cook don't have to worry about it. Because in a civil court or criminal court, it's going to mean the same thing. Nothing. When Mr. Sam Cooke tore that door down, and he walked right past, that was over with. That was the end of that anyway. See, all you can say is that you tore the door down. Okay, well, tore the door down. But what they got to do with the murder? If Bertha Franklin's still standing there after you tore the door down, that's not no justifiable homicide. She's still standing there. See, if you still standing there, that can mean anything. Because you could have got into a conversation with Mr. Sam Cooke after the door was tore down. Be like, hey, Mr. Sam Cooke, wait a minute. You could have been a conversation that you and Mr. Sam Cooke could have had, and the door totally was irrelevant. Yeah, he tore the door down. Did he steal anything? No. What did he do? He just walked around looking for the girl. Well, that's the end of it. Civil court, criminal court gonna tell you the same thing. That's the end of it. It don't have anything to do with the murder. It don't have anything to do with the murder. Simple as that. I mean, you wanna deal with, talking about Mr. Sam, but we're gonna charge you with crime. Well, I mean, the only thing you can say, he told it all out. On that point, in a civil court and a criminal court, they're gonna just say, well, okay, force my entry, okay. But what they got to do with the murder? Nothing. Brother Franklin was still standing there. Then what happened? See, this in a civil court and criminal court, we got to ask, then what happened? After Mr. Sam Cooke told us to go out, what happened next? It's got to always be something next. It's not that Mr. Sam Cooke told her to go down and ran right toward Bertha Franklin and killed her. And tried to kill her right then and there. As soon as he told her to go down, he ran into Bertha Lee Franklin, and she defended herself and she shot him. That's not what happened. That's the reason why. That's the reason why you got to ask, what happened next? Well, after Mr. Sam Cooke told her to go down, he walked around and was looking for the girl. He went to the kitchen and went to the bedroom, went to all the bedrooms, and he didn't find that girl. So what did he do next? Then he started hollering at Bertha Franklin. Where the girl? Then what happened? He grabbed Bertha Franklin on. Then what happened? They got to tussle. Then what happened? Bertha Franklin resisted. Then what happened? She kicked him, biting, scratching. Then what happened? They fell down. Mr. Sam Cooke fell down on top of Bertha Franklin. all this kind of stuff. See, it's always what happened next, what happened. It's always these, events. This happened, then this happened, then this happened, then this happened. See, a judge in a civil and criminal court case, they don't have to sit there and hear this again. See, that's the reason why I do the things I do to help Miss Barbara Campbell Cook to see that you don't have nothing to worry about. See, in a civil court, criminal court, there's always a legal remedy. If somebody say something like time is irrelevant. There's always a legal remedy. It's wrong. It's a crime that these people have committed. And there's a legal remedy. You owe Miss Barbara Campbell Cook, get straight to the point. You owe Miss Barbara Campbell Cook a lot of money. Straight to the point. And this is a world map of all the people on the earth. And this is an Albanian language map. And this is a Baltic language map. It's a Greek language map. It's a Slavic. This is a Slavic language map. This is the Altaic language map. And this is a Euro-Altaic language map. And this is a Romanian language map. Now, the Romanian language is a Latin Romance language, and Romania, in the Romanian language, is known as Wallachia. Now this is a map of the languages of Africa. And this is a map of the languages of Africa. And this is a map of the languages of Africa. And And this is an Afro-Asiatic language distribution map. And this is the Afro-Asiatic language distribution map. This is a Nilo-Saharan language distribution map. This is a Nilo-Saharan language distribution map. And this is the Niger-Congo language distribution map. And this is the Niger-Congo language distribution map. Now, the title of this book is West African Traditional Religion, written by Dr. Joseph Omaseni, related on Dr. P. Adonumoto Payne. And the title of this book is African Traditional Religion, definition, written by Dr. E. Baloja Idowu. And the title of this book is African Religion and Philosophy, written by Dr. John S. M.B. And the title of this book is Concepts of God in Africa, written by Dr. John S. M.B. Now, Webster's third New International Dictionary gave the complete total definition and meaning of the word gang, the act, manner, or means of going. Now, there are East Coast bitch, the sorority and the fraternity. They going around calling themselves sister and brother in Latin. There ain't no better. Like I've been saying, the United States Justice Department, you got all these men and women that also went to college, have a bachelor's degree, master's degree, PhD. It's mainly the people in management. Now, the sorority and fraternity, they're going around trying to claim the whole damn East Coast. There's a criminal organization trying to claim and use the East Coast of the United States of America, from the state of Maine all the way down to the state of Florida, using that occult literature. And then they go to other parts of the United States of America, including U.S. territory. That's where all that so-called blood gang, Crip gang came from out there in Los Angeles, California, came from the sorority and fraternity. And they were using that occult literature. And see, and that was, they were using that occult literature. And see, a lot of celebrity athletes and celebrity entertainers, they go to college. And they join, they become members of the sorority and fraternity. Like we've been talking about, they be calling themselves a blood in the crib, and a bloodstone, been a limestone, all that kind of dumb stuff. See, the United States Department of Justice, they saying anti-gang. The whole United States government, federal and state, they're really a compilation of state laws against gangs. Anti-gang. See, it's wrong. It's wrong. The sorority and fraternity riding around in a car with a license plate with the 3 Greek letters on the license plate. Now, this Oxford English Dictionary gives the complete and total definition meaning of the word gang. Action or mode of going, way, as a set of things or person. Again, they were their sorority and their fraternity calling themselves sister and brother in Latin, and going around using that occult list, some kind of criminal organization trying to use the whole East Coast from the state of Maine down to the state of Florida as some kind of criminal organization base. Use that occult list, and they go to other parts of the United States of America and U.S. territory using that occult list. And the East Coast bitch was out there in California. They are using their occult list. They started the blood gang, Crip gang, the Bloodstone, Bill Limestone, all that. And a lot of these celebrity athletes, celebrity entertainers, they go to college and they join, they become members of the sorority and fraternity. They going around calling themselves a blood and the Crip and a Bloodstone, Bill and Limestone, with that occult list. See, the FBI, the United States Justice Department, they say anti-gang strategies, prevention, intervention, assessment, and suppression. See, the United States government, they know way more than the alumni of the sorority fraternity. They know way more. All the different departments of the Justice Department. All those men and women, they also went to college. Especially the people in management. They have a bachelor's degree, master's degree, PhD. They know way more. The U.S. Department of Justice, they know way more than the sorority fraternity. Including the United Nations. They know way more than alumni. Riding around with a damn license plate with 3 Greek letters. You're gonna get your ass killed on these streets. So you try to play. Now, the United States government enacted the Organized Crime Control Act of 1970 and Title IX of the Organized Crime Control Act of 1970 is the Racketeering Influence and Corrupt Organization Act. The RICO Act is anti-gang. The Comprehensive Drug Abuse Prevention and Control Act 1970, the Controlled Substance Act, the Psychotropic Substance Act, the Continuing Criminal Enterprise Statute, the Kingpin Statute is all anti-gang. The Juvenile Justice Links Prevention Act of 1974 established the Office of Juvenile Justice Links Prevention. That's the United States Department of Justice, as well as other related legislation. Comprehensive Anti-Gang Initiative Office of Juvenile Justice Links Prevention, and the Comprehensive Gang Model Office of Juvenile Justice Links Prevention, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, the Office of Justice Program, and the United States Department of Justice. See, I'm telling you now, you're going to end up getting your ass killed on these streets. The Office of Justice Program, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, the United States Department of Justice, the Comprehensive Anti-Gang Initiative Project in the same neighborhood, the United States Department of Justice Office of Community-Oriented Police to serve Comprehensive Anti-Gang Initiative. The Office of Juvenile Justice and Links Prevention, the United States Department of Justice, the Office of Justice Program, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, the International Narcotics Law Enforcement Affairs, the United States Department of State, the Institute for Intergovernmental Affairs, Gang Resistant Education and Training, and GREAT Program, the United States Department of Justice, the Office of Justice Program, the Office of Juvenile Justice and Links Prevention, in October 2009 National Youth Gang Summit, which has been funded by the Office of Juvenile Justice and Links Prevention since 1995, merged with the National Gang Summit, which has been funded by the Bureau of Justice since 2003. The National Gang Summit, compilation of state laws against gangs. Gang prevention, Nobel Research Program, Mr. James Allen, Office of Juvenile Justice and Links Prevention, the United States Department of Justice, the Bureau of Justice, the Office of Juvenile Justice and Links Prevention, National Gang Center Bullet, and the title of Bullet History of Street Gangs in the United States. You can also go to the quick reference, Wikipedia, and you'll find the same information. It'll be titled Gangs in the United States. The United States Department of Justice, Office of the United States Attorney, Man, 1457 Pimp Street Gang Statute 18, United States Code 521. The United States Department of Justice, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, National Gang Intelligence Center. The United States Department of Justice, Organized Crime and Gang Section. There are also other federal, state, and local agencies. The United States Department of Justice, Office of Justice Program, National Institute of Justice, Anti-Gang Strategies, Prevention, Intervention, Assessment, and Suppression. The United States Department of Justice, Office of Justice Program, National Institute of Justice, United States Department of Health and Human Services, Center for Disease Control and Prevention, National Center for Injury Prevention and Control, changing course, preventing gang membership, and also striving to do youth violence everywhere. The United States Department of Justice, United States Department of Education, United States Department of Health and Human Services, the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development, the United States Department of Labor, and the White House Office of National Drug Control Policy, the National Forum Youth Violence Prevention Forum. You can go to youth.gov and be informed about the National Forum Youth Violence Prevention Forum, as well as the companies, the anti-gang and the companies and gang model. The United States Department of Justice, the Bureau of Justice, National Crime Prevention Council, keeping kids out of gang. The United States Department of Justice, hazing is a crime. You can go to lawyers.com and be informed about anti-hate. Now you know street slang words like gang plus stir, mob plus stir. You can go to Merriam-Webster, Third New International Dictionary, and Oxford English Dictionary, give you a complete and total definition and meaning of the word gang plus stir and mob plus stir. Also, you have other street slang like boss, spoon, thug, crook, hoodlum, mac, player, pimp, whore, hustler, nigga, field, nigga, house nigga. It's street slang. You go to you have street slang for music, hip hop, rock and roll, swing, groove, jazz, blues, funk, doo-wop, bebop. It's street slang. You got street slang for money, currency, exchange, bucks, rack, stack, band, bread, dough, scratch, loot, motor, Bentley, dead president. It's street slang. Nothing official, nothing right about no street slang. Now the sorority and the fraternity, the East Coast bitch. Call themselves trying to use the whole East Coast of the United States of America from the state of Florida. From the state of Maine all the way down to the state of Florida, using that occult literature. And the United States Department of Justice, hazing is a crime. And the sorority fraternity, they use hazing and initiation ritual. They're criminal. The sorority fraternity, they commit crime on and off the gamble. They use and abuse tobacco products. They indulge in gambling, gangs, chain, They use and abuse alcohol and drugs. They indulge in immoral activities. They indulge in sexual deviance and depravity. Don't be misled by the sorority and fraternity. Talking about they've been to college. They criminals. All those persons that initiated, started the sorority fraternity, renounce them. Now, all those denounce the whole concept and idea of a sorority fraternity. Now, the sorority fraternity, they work and they manage the businesses, the companies, and the corporations. They use and misuse the background check. They commit crimes against humanity, atrocities, violations of human rights and civil rights, inhumanity, genocide, ethnic cleansing, all forms of discrimination and harassment. They pollute the air, ground, water, and noise pollution. They destroy the environment, nature, and wildlife. So don't let the sorority and fraternity mislead you by telling you they went to college. They criminals. They criminals. Now, the pre-13 colony history. Don't negate the pre-13 colony history, before the 13 colony. Harvard University is the oldest institution in the United States, founded March 13, 1639, in Cambridge, Massachusetts. William Mary College, Williamsburg, Virginia, founded February 8, 1693, second oldest institution in the United States of America. Phi Beta Kappa Society, founded on December 5, 1776. The College of William Mary, recognized as the first Greek letter student society in North America. Alpha Delta Pi, first sorority, founded in 1851, Wesleyan College, Macon, Georgia. The first organization to adopt the word sorority was Gamma Phi Beta, established on November 11, 1874, Syracuse University, Syracuse, New York. The first women's fraternity was at DuPont College, 18-something. Now, the basis of the sorority and fraternity is them old world secret society from Africa, from Asia, and from Europe. For example, the Eastern Star, the Freemasons, talking about Euclid, the Mathematician, Leon, Alexander, Egypt, 1390, 1425, mentioned the Holloway manuscript, the Reed Porter Cook manuscript, the Downer manuscript. Now, examples of them old world secret society from Africa, from Asia, from Europe. Skull and Bone, Rosicrucian, the Sons of Living, Third Society, Private Society, Ordo Templi Orientis, Knights of the Golden Eagles and Women, the ancient Arabic or the Nobles of the Mystic Shrine, the Approved Order of the P.O. Sisters, the Eastern Star, the Freemason, the Elks, the Lower Order Moose, the Bilderberg Group, the Ku Klux Klan, the Knights of Poseidon, Knights of Columbus, the Illuminati, Far Society, the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, the Mystic Order of Bell Prophets of the Enchanted Realm, the United Order of the Golden Cross, the United Ancient Order of Druid, the National Grain, the Ancient Order of Herbanan, the Opus Dei, the Knights Templar, the Scottish Rite, the Spanish Garduna, the Carbonarian, the Black Hand, you say Mafia, there's Afro-Asiatic, you say Costa Nostra, there's Latin, the Triad, the Yakuza, the Osiris. Now, Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, Global Rights, Frontline Defenders, Human Rights Right Frontier, International Service for Human Rights. Conservation International, Wildlife Conservation Society, Conservation Fund, the League of Conservation Voters, Earth Watch Institute, Conservancy Association, Earth Justice, and Conservation Volunteers. Wildlife Conservation Network and National Wildlife Trust, the Biodiversity and Nature Conservancy Association, Rare Species Conservation Center, Wildlife Research and Conservation Trust, The Rainforest Trust, the International Rainforest Conservation Organization, Rainforest Alliance, the Rainforest Action Network, Biodiversity International, Urban Network, Environmental Defense Forum, Friends of the Earth, Friends of Nature, Greenpeace, the Nature Conservancy, Wildlife Conservation Society, the Soil and Water Conservation, Clean Water Action, World Water Council, Marine Conservation Institute, Marine Conservation Alliance, Ocean Preservation Society, the Oceanic Society, Global Ocean Commission, the International Marine Life Alliance. And this is the International Bill on Human Rights. See, when we talk about that occult literature, the International Bill on Human Rights, that's what it was based on. All the inhumanity, the crimes against humanity that were being committed and perpetrated by human beings against other human beings, as well as animals and all that. The International Bill on Human Rights. And this is the Convention on Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women. The Declaration of the Rights of the Child. The United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child. The world's oldest human rights organization, Anti-Slavery International. The International Federation for Human Rights. The world's oldest international conservation organization, BirdLife International. Fauna and Flora International was the world's first international wildlife conservation organization. The world's oldest global environmental organization, the International Union for Conservation of Nature, and also the World Wildlife Fund. Now, this is a list of place names of Native American origin in the United States. For example, state names: Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, Connecticut, Idaho, Illinois, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Mississippi, Missouri, Nebraska, New Mexico, North and South Dakota, Ohio, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, Wisconsin, and Wyoming. Then scroll all the way down to the bottom where it says see also, and you'll see a list of place names of indigenous origin in the Americas. Pirates. Now, as you know, that occult literature that we've been talking about, that is what they was using, the piracy, that occult literature. The United States Department of Justice, the Office of Juvenile Justice and Extradition Prevention, the Bureau of Justice System, the National Gang Center Bulletin, and the title of the book, History of Street Gangs in the United States. Real I'm Mr. James, and I'm Mr. John P. Moore. You can also go to the quick reference Wikipedia. You'll find the same information be titled gangs in the United States. Church and all their particular churches. They be using that occult literature. And that's the reason why all these celebrity athletes, celebrity entertainers, who be going around calling themselves a blood in the crypt, a bloodstone, a limestone, and all that other stuff. That's where they go, because of their occult literature. The Catholic Church and all that particular church, they ain't going to lie. Protestant Reformation Movement Church, 95 Thesis Church, that is the Catholic Church and all that particular church. They be using that occult literature. And again, that's the reason why all these celebrity athletes, celebrity entertainers, that's where they go. Because they be lying, they be using that occult literature. That's why all these are celebrity athletes, celebrity entertainers, including all the ones that went to college and joined the sorority church, that's where they go. Because they're occult literature. They lying. The American Restoration Movement, the Stone Campbell Movement, and the Church of Christ. Stone and Campbell doing a secret handshake, and all the people in the Catholic Church and all the particular church that hide. They lying. They be using that occult literature. And again, that's the reason why all these celebrity athletes, celebrity entertainers be going around using that occult literature, going around talking they went to college and talking about they have blood in the crib and a bloodstone and a limestone, talking about they in a gang. That's the reason why. Because they be lying. Saul from Tarsus, self-proclaimed Apostle Paul. He was not no apostle. He was not an apostle. He was a devil. He wrote all those epistles in the Holy Bible. The man-made religion was they used those epistles that Saul from Tarsus, the self-proclaimed Apostle Paul, wrote. For example, Romans chapter 16, verse 16, so the one that would all give the church with the suffix ES or Christ salute. Another example is 2 Thessalonians chapter 1 verse 4. So that we ourselves glory in you in the church with the suffix ES of God for your patience, favor, all your persecution, tribulation, and ye in good. Now, devil worship, Satanism, is no such thing. See, that's religious persecution. You took the word devil and Satan out the Holy Bible. The Holy Bible is a consecrated book. And the people at the United Nations gonna tell you the same thing. It's religious persecution when you say devil, worship, Satanism. Using words out the Holy Bible. That's desecration of the Holy Book. See, that's the reason why we have a United Nations today. So many people in the past persecuted so many people because of their religious beliefs. It's religious persecution. And the United States Justice Department gonna tell you the same thing. It's religious persecution. Now, that's a sorority and their fraternity. The alumni. You see the word cult at the top. See, they join the sorority and fraternity, then over the years, 20 years, after a period of time, you've been in the sorority and fraternity, then the new members of the sorority and fraternity, they make it sound like you know everything. Now, this is the occult literature. Western esotericism, Western mystery tradition, Hermetism, Gnosticism, Neoplatonism, Rosicrucianism, the Freemasonry, the Eastern Star, the Age of Enlightenment, Spiritualism, Kabbalah. There are two words, arcane and occult, microcosmical and exoteric. See, that's what the East Coast bitch be trying to use to claim the whole damn East Coast of the United States of America, from the state of Maine all the way down to the state of Florida. Gonna get your damn ass killed trying to play with other people. And this is the other occult literature. Occult at the very top. And then the word arcane, esoteric, spiritualism, theosophy, anthroposophy, hermetic order of the gold dawn, new age. And then you have all that occult science, occult quality. See, these Bible verses right here, when we be talking about that occult literature, this the reason why it's wrong in the Holy Bible, because God told you in the 5 books of Moses that divination, wrong, sorcery, wrong, witchcraft, wrong, necromancer, wrong. God told you in the 5 books of Moses all that stuff, fortune telling, omens, tarot cards, all that other junk, sacrificing to Molech, sacrificing to Beelzebub is wrong. Idol worship, wrong. See, this is the reason why that occult literature wrong. The 10 Commandments. This is the reason why the occult literature wrong. Instead of listening to God, you call yourself listening to a man. See, that's what God told you in the 5 books of Moses, in the 10 Commandments. We finna go there. It's wrong. All right, let's get the Holy Bible. The Holy Bible. Now we're in the Holy Bible. Turn to the Old Testament. Turn to the 5 books of Moses. And when you turn to the 5 books of Moses, turn to the book of Exodus, chapter 20. The 10 Commandments. Now you can read the whole chapter. Chapter 20, verses 1 through 26. Read the whole chapter. Now the 10 Commandments in the book of, in chapter 20. In the book of Exodus is verses 1 through 17. Now, let me say this. The reason why that occult literature is wrong, because in the 10 Commandments, God tell you, I am the Lord, thy God. You don't have no choice. You don't have no decision in the matter. God tell you, you don't listen to nobody except me. I'm God, and I give you a blueprint. The 10 Commandments. You don't ask nobody. You don't listen to no man. No man gonna write no literature. You not nobody. I'm God. I created you. You don't know nothing. You don't know anything except what I teach. 5 times in the 10 Commandments in verses 1 through 17, God said, I am the Lord thy God. Let's read. Starting in verse number 1, chapter 20, the book of Exodus, the 10 Commandments, verses 1 through 17. And to read, and God spake all these words, saying, pay attention. I am the Lord. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Thy God. That occult literature is wrong. You don't have no choice, ain't no decision in the matter. It's wrong. God telling you it's wrong. Which I brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them, for I, the Lord, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Thy God. That's the second time. Am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the father upon the children unto the 3rd and 4th generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love and keep my command. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Thy God. That's the 3rd time. In vain. For the Lord will not hold him guiltless and take his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Thy God. That's the 4th time. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gate. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the 7th day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord, on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, thy God giveth thee. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is in thy neighbor's, that is thy neighbor's. Verses 1 through 17, the book of Exodus, the 10 Commandments. 5 times the Lord said, I am the Lord, thy God. And the cult literature is wrong. Now we just read the Old Testament. I am the Lord. In the Old Testament, I am the Lord thy God. That occult literature wrong. Now we're going to go to the New Testament. The New Testament. The Holy Bible. The New Testament. The book of Matthew, Mark, and Luke. The greatest commandment in the law. In Matthew, the first verse you can find in Matthew chapter 22, verses 35 through 40. The book of Mark, chapter 12, verses 28 through 31. And the book of Luke, chapter 10, verses 25 through 28. Let's turn to the book of Matthew, chapter 22, verses 35 through 40. The greatest commandment in the law. And it reads, and again we in the book of Matthew, chapter 22, verses 35 to 40. And it reads, then one of them, which was a lawyer, asked him a question, tempting him and saying, Master, which is the great commandment in the law? Jesus said unto him, thou shalt love thy neighbor. Thou shalt love the Lord. On the count of 3, thy God. And read that again. Then one of them, which was the Lord, asked him the question, tempted him and saying, Master, which is the great commandment in the law? This is a commandment. These are commandments. Now, verse 37. Jesus said unto him, Thou shalt love the Lord. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Thy God. Thy God. That occult literature is wrong. It's wrong. In the Old Testament, in the New Testament, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, Holy Ghost, telling you the same thing. It's wrong. You don't listen to nobody except the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, Holy Ghost. They one and the same. Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart. Now, what that mean? To love the Lord thy God with all thy heart. The Old Testament. 5 books of Moses. The God in the book of Joshua, the book of Ezra, Nehemiah, the Psalms, the Proverbs, 1st and 2nd Samuel, 1st and 2nd Kings, 1st and 2nd Chronicles. The God in all these books in the Old Testament. That God you believe. You listen to that God. You love the Lord thy God with all thy heart. You love the Lord thy God with all thy soul. What that mean? You have a soul. Because Jesus said, you have a heart, you have a soul. So, apparently, the carnal, the physical, the external, the internal, but internally, the soul. Jesus. See, when you think about Jesus every day, you thinking about your soul. Think about it. Jesus Christ tell you to repent. There's something that you are trying not to be punished, because you've been taught by our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, the Son of God, that if you don't repent, if you don't listen to Jesus, the Son of God, you will be punished eternally. How is Jesus going to put your soul? Physically, you suffer for being disobedient, being defiant. In the internal, the spiritual, you get punished by the Lord. So it's not just that you have to face punishment while you're alive, even by God, not just by man, but by God. But God will punish you now, while you're alive, as well as when you die. Your soul. So you love the Lord thy God with all thy soul, by being obedient. You listen to Jesus. You love the Lord thy God with all thy mind. What that mean? When you have to deal with right and wrong in your mind. Now let's just say some people have some mental health issues. Like, they've been saying we have a mental health problem in the United States of America, as well as around the world. Some people have bipolar condition. Some people have been diagnosed being paranoid, schizophrenic. Other things, some of these diagnoses that the clinical psychologists and psychiatrists have diagnosed some people. Even women, even some of the pregnant women, after they have a baby, get diagnosed having what they call it postpartum depression. People being diagnosed being depressed. Some people, some little children, they get diagnosed as being hyper. What they call it, attention, ADHD, attention deficit, hyperactive disorder. Then you have other people that get diagnosed being compulsive, having some kind of compulsive disorder. But see, everybody ain't don't get diagnosed as having some mental health issue. But I brought it up to include it in our discussion. And so, what does it mean to love the Lord thy God with all thy mind? See, you have all these thoughts in your mind. See, you can commit sin, like Jesus said. You not only did you commit fornication physically, but you did it in your mind. You undressed a woman in your mind. You imagine your imagination. You imagine doing all these things and a woman as well with each other. When God already told you not to commit fornication, not to commit adultery, but in your mind. You committed sin. See, you put on a ski mask, went and robbed a convenience store. See, even before you did it, you had thought about it. See, in your mind, see, you conceive all these ideas in your mind before you even do it. On a lot of occasions, then you had this momentary stuff at the moment. Driving your car. You try to get out of a speeding ticket by lying. You know doggone well you were speeding. You tried to get out of it. And then had the nerve to try to talk about you want to take the police officer to court. No, I'm coming down to court. I'm coming down. No, I see you in court. You got all irate. Went viral. Then you went viral. You used your phone and started all this talking on your phone. Made a video. Went viral. But see, in your mind, you know you was wrong. You know you were lying. You know you was 20 miles per hour over the speed limit. Instead of you admitting to the police officer that you had sped, that you were speeding, you tried to make it sound like the police were lying on you. Now you gonna go to court and bring up all kind of stuff on. You call yourself gonna try to do an investigation on the police and try to bring up some dirty laundry on the police to get out of speed ticket when you was wrong in the first place. The police got you on a speed speedometer going 20 miles over speed limit. Then you lied about it to get out of it. See, in your mind, you knew it was wrong to speed in the first place. That you done drove on the highway. You got a speed sign. Tell you whatever state you live in. I mean, they tell you 60 miles per hour or 65 miles per hour, 70 miles per hour. You done drove past many speed signs very fast. You done went by them so fast that you couldn't even see them. Then the police clocked you with the speedometer, and then you lied about it. Now you want to go to court. Instead of you're supposed to love the Lord thy God with all thy mind, with all your mind. And what it said, this is the first and great commandment. And the second is like unto it, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. That's a very powerful statement. Don't take it lightly. Just look at the world we live in. If everybody, just think about this, if everybody around the world would love thy neighbor as thou love thyself. Think about it. Every human being on this earth, 5 billion plus human beings on this earth, if everybody would love thy neighbor as thou love thyself. Man, woman, and child. Like that Highway QC sang that song. Every man, woman, and child belongs to God. Love thy neighbor as thou love thyself. The world will be a beautiful place to live. But reality, they have hate groups. People hate other groups. I'm talking about there are groups of people who hate other groups of people. You got men who hate women, women who hate men. You got children who hate their parents. You got parents who don't even love their own children. That's the type of world we live in. Now, I don't even want to talk about the animals. But see, it's a command from God. He said, and the second is like unto the first. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I guess somebody would say some people don't even love themselves. Now, some people do themselves wrong. Not including the people with mental health problems, mental health issues, but just people in general. A lot of people do themselves wrong. They smoke cigarettes. Surgeon General told you, smoking is bad. They smoke cigars. Look at all these women smoke cigars. Look at all these men and women. They use drugs, alcohol. You kill yourself. Look at all these men and women. Just look at all the people who don't eat right. For you to, you overindulge on sweets and salt. Instead of moderation, you almost pour the whole can of iodized salt on your pork chop. Some people take risks with their life. Instead of putting a helmet on when you ride a motorcycle, they told you, put a helmet on. What you do? You jumped on a motorcycle. Didn't even put no helmet on. Take risks with your own life because you don't care. You don't care. You don't even care about your own life as well as other people. Put your seatbelt on when you drive a car. They had to pass a law just to make you put your seatbelt on. Then what you do? You go to a bar, start drinking. What you do? Get behind the wheel and drive. Kill yourself as well as other people. because you don't care about yourself. But as you know, Old Testament, New Testament, God told you, I am the Lord thy God. That occult literature is wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong. It's right there. Old Testament, New Testament, the Ten Commandments in the Old Testament, and then you turn to the New Testament, the greatest commandment in the law. The book of Matthew, chapter 22, verses 35 through 40. The book of Mark, chapter 12, verses 28 through 31. The book of Luke, chapter 10, verses 25 through 28. And also about that occult literature, these are verses that tell you the same thing. Tell you the same thing. That is wrong. That occult literature wrong. It's wrong. Now you know that Christian stuff is wrong. Saying Christian is wrong. When they said it, they were saying it as an insult. That's what they when they first heard it, was the first time you heard it. And when it was said in Antioch, away behind, the apostles were in Jerusalem. And the people who said that, they said it way over in Antioch and thought they got away with it. They thought they got away with it. John Mark, in the book of Acts, chapter 13, verse number 10, he went back to Jerusalem and told them, say it's wrong. They be lying. See, the Catholic Church and all that particular church, all the Protestant Reformation movement, 95 Thesis Church, they be lying. The American Restoration movement, the Stone County movement, the Church of Christ, they be lying. It's wrong. And I'm going to tell you this, all the people at the Justice Department that went to God, they know what it means when you call somebody a name. That's how you know it's wrong. When you say it Christian, and the way it was done, it was not. The apostles were taught by Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, the Son of God. Our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, the Son of God, he lived on this earth, and he taught the disciples. He never told nobody to say Christian. the apostles were in Jerusalem. They never said that. See, this is how you know it's wrong. In Acts chapter 15, verse number 2, Barnabas and Saul got called back to Jerusalem. They had to go back to Jerusalem. And this is how you know it's wrong. Acts chapter 15. Verse 22. It's wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong. You're not supposed to be calling yourself or calling other people a Christian. See, there again. When you say you love God with all your heart, all your soul, all your mind, what you doing going calling yourself a Christian? And why you going around calling other people a Christian? See, it's wrong. When you say you love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and all thy soul and all thy mind, what you doing going around calling other people Christian? And why you going around calling yourself a Christian? That's wrong. go back over to Officer Thomas, the investigative police officer testimony. Now, like I said, these are official court documents. These official court documents. The coroner of the state of California, the district attorney for the county of Los Angeles. These official court documents. And like I said, Ms. Barbara Chemicals don't have nothing to worry about. See, there's always a legal remedy. So if it was any issue about time, there's always a legal remedy. You ain't got nothing to worry about. You don't have nothing to worry about. Because see, it was wrong what these people had done. It's wrong. It's wrong. And we ain't even got the federal. See, but see, like I said, when you know you're wrong, you don't even have to go that far. You don't even have to go federal. But I mean, there again, there's always a legal remedy. So time, like it's too long, no. There again, it's wrong. This is the testimony of F.L. Thomas, the coroner. He was questioned by the coroner. State your name, F.L. Thomas, and your occupation. Police officer for the city of Los Angeles, assigned to the 77th Street Detectives. So he the investigative officer. Did you investigate this episode? Yes, sir, I did. And during your investigation, did you determine how many shots were fired in the manager's apartment at the motel in question? According to the bullets in the gun given to me by the uniformed police officer, there were 3 empty cartridges and 3 live rounds. We were only able to find 2 of the projectiles. One was in Mr. Cook, and the other one had struck the ceiling above the bedroom door and had fallen to the divine on the west side of the room. And were you present when the body of Mr. Cook was searched by the coroner's department? For all the time, yes, sir. And what property, if any, was recovered from Mr. Cook at the time? I would call it wristwatch. I believe it was an Omega brand. There was a money clip and $108 with some change, and I believe there were a couple of miscellaneous cars or something. I don't recall anything else at this time. Would you later have conversation with the victim by the name of Bogey? Yes, sir, I did. And did you have that conversation with the or at the police station? This was held at the 77th Street Police Station shortly after. You heard Ms. Bowley's testimony to the inquest. Did she tell you substantially the same as she testified to? Yes, sir. And did you and your fellow officer later recover the rest of Mr. Cook's clothes? Yes, sir. And where was that clothes recovered? It was pointed out to the previous officer, Mr. Cook, by Ms. Bowley, not in my presence. It was under a stairway in the apartment house between 9137 South February and 92nd Street. And to your knowledge, was there any property in the clothes? Not to my knowledge, no, sir. Were pictures taken of the manager's motel at 9137 South February? Right, yes, sir. And do you have some of the pictures with you that depict the area? Yes, sir, I do. So, like I said, you know, they took pictures of the motel, of the manager's apartment, of the manager's motel, and now, this is what the coroner asked. Was Mr. Cooper now dead at the scene? Yes, prior to my arrival. What penal code section refers to an episode such as this? Now see, objection. Objection. Mr. Maintick's supposed to stand up and object. Mr. Bravilla is the district attorney, and Mr. Maintick is supposed to be representing Ms. Barbara Campbell Cook. He's supposed to object right then and there. Because the circumstance around Mr. Sam Cook's murder is not about no door, forcible entry. This is what they trying to make it sound like. What penal code section refers to an episode such as 197? Would you read that section or subject? Yes, 197 was the penal code entitled Justifiable Homicide by other persons. Homicide is also justified when committed by any person in either of the following cases. 1. When resisting any attempt to murder any person or to commit a felony. or to do some great bodily injury upon any person, or when committing an offense of habitation, property, or personal against one who manifestly intends or endeavors by violence or surprise to commit a felony, or against one who manifestly intends or endeavors in a violent, riotous, or tumultuous manner to enter the habitation of another for the purpose of offering violence to any person therein. The circumstance of Mr. Sam Cook's murder don't have anything to do with that. See, this is the reason why when you go back to when they had Bertha Franklin on the stand and they asked, did you return? You know, when she got asked a lot of questions, like, are you the manager? Did you return that physical force? See, this when you get asked a question in court, and for the police to be sitting up in the courtroom on the witness stand, you got a district attorney sitting in the courtroom, and you talking about some justified homicide. This is systemic racism. Is there any additional information? Your investigation has revealed that has not been testified to at this equipment. Yes, we ran some laboratory tests on the clothing of the deceased and also on the dress previously mentioned. Would you please tell the jury the result of the test? And you know, let me see. Said the deceased sports coat that he was wearing at the time of this occurrence had a hole in the corresponding area. Would be the left chest area. And surround this hole with 1 and an 8-inch diameter powder burn. And this indicates the muzzle distance was probably about 1 inch. And they had about the time the gun was discharged. So you would use that close range with that gun. You know. If you got powder burn on the coat, had a you said 1 and an 8-inch diameter powder burn, and this indicates the muzzle distance probably about 1.5 inches by the time the gun to pants, shirt, socks, and underclothing, check for trace of blood. And then, you know, they took the gun in for ballistics. And then they also did an examination of the stick. as you can see, this was systemic racism. There's no way you can see the coroner, in the coroner's inquest, and you have the coroner questioning the investigative officer about the penal code. And you have an investigative officer sitting up in the courtroom talking about some justifiable homicide. There's no such thing. The circumstances of the case. There's no way you can say justifiable homicide. No way. There's no way. With biochemical, you don't have nothing to worry about. You can't talk about the door being towed down for the whole case. It's only a certain, you know what I'm saying? It's only at a certain point in the circumstance that Mr. Cook tore the door down, but he kept walking. He walked right past Bertha Frank, went into the kitchen, went into the bedroom, didn't even touch her, didn't even say a word to her. He was just looking for the girl. After he saw that the girl wasn't there, then he said something to Miss Frank, "Where the girl?" He started hollering, "Where the girl?" Then he grabbed her. So now, this is something different. It's something different. It's something different. Then after you grab her, what happened? Bertha Lee Franklin resisted. Bertha Lee Franklin resisted. She returned. What did she do? She started biting, kicking, and scratching. Stop right there. I had to remind you, in a court of law, it can be civil court, criminal law. What she did could be criminal because you went too far. Now, just because Mr. Sam could grab your arm, that don't give you the right to pick up a gun and shoot Mr. Sam Cook. Now you started kicking, biting, and scratching. Okay. In a civil court, criminal court, you defended yourself. Like you said, just like they asked you a question in court. Did you return that physical force? Yes, I did. What did you do? I started kicking, biting, and scratching. Stop right there. Now what they got to do with the door? See, it don't have nothing to do with the door. See, you can't do two things at once. So you can't say Mr. Sam could tore the door down and at the same time you tore the door down. No, that ain't what happened. Mr. Sam could tore the door down first. Walk past Bertha Frank. Then after walking past Bertha Frank and looking all around, they started yelling out, then what? Then he grabbed Bertha Frank. Then what? She returned that physical force. She started kicking, biting, and scratching. Then what happened? Mr. Sample fell down on top of her. They fell down on the ground. They got to tussle. Then what happened? She got up. Stop right there. You got back up. Then what you do? I kick Sam Cook. You kick Sam Cook. He hit the wall. What a dope. You kick Sam Cook, he hit the wall. What they got to do with, what the dog got to do with this? See now, it ain't what he did, it's what you doing. See when you get into a court of law, it can be the civil court, the criminal court, we in a court of law. You kick Mr. Sam Cook, he hit the wall, then what happened? You pushed him down, you pushed Sam Cook down. Then what happened? I ran. You ran. Then what you do? I grabbed the gun that I knew I had. Then what happened? I started shooting. When you pushed Mr. Sam Cook down, And when they was talking about Mr. Sam Cook had a sports coat on, you know what they tell me? That Mr. Cook was down. And that you fired a shot. Possibly missed Mr. Cook. But when you shot, you came up close range. And shot Mr. Sam Cook in the chest. Because the bullet came from the side. So when we look at the direction where the bullet came from, that's first degree murder. They had gunpowder residue on the sports coat. You were close range. That's first degree murder. Then there was another shot fired. They ain't find that bullet. You sound like to me you possibly trying to be a smart ass. Call yourself or just shoot the gun somewhere. Then you put the gun down, then you claim Mr. Sam Cook kept coming in, so I picked up a stick and hit him in the head. Hell, Mr. Sam Cook got a gunshot on the bone lung and his heart. And you talking about he said later you shot me. And then you claim he kept coming in. Man got a gunshot on the bone lung and his heart. That's first degree murder. It's first degree murder. This Bobby Chemical ain't have nothing to worry about. You own this Bobby can see in a court of law. You can be silver court, criminal court. You ain't got nothing to worry about. It's wrong what they did. That's the reason why I keep going over this information in these court documents. That's ineffective assistant counsel, Mr. May. Ineffective assistant counsel. Ineffective assistant counsel. It's wrong. It's wrong with what the district attorney did. It's wrong. It's wrong what the coroner did. So I'm gonna continue to protest. I'm gonna continue to speak out. I'm gonna continue to be an advocate for Mr. Sam Cook. I'm gonna continue to be an advocate for Mr. Sam Cook until there be justice in the courtroom. He's wrong. Now these are just a few of the preload design. That's how you go do the anti-gang go. I'm gonna get ready to end today's video. Again, my name is Eric D. Johnson, also known by BrightShine in Raheem, the city of Memphis, County, State, Tennessee. Thank all my family, my support for your continued support. And always put God first. Always put God first. Always give thanks for God for all the blessings God provides all of us. And remember, the United States Department of Justice, they do not tell anybody. They didn't tell anybody to go walk around trying to negatively influence other people. By trying to influence them to be a gangster, a mobster. The United States Justice Department did not tell you that. The people that, the men and women at the United States Justice Department, all these departments, they've been to college too. Especially the people in management. They've been to college too, got bachelor's degree, PhD. And you don't see them going around just like at the CDC. You don't see nobody going around in the community trying to negatively influence the general public to use that occult literature. They ain't tell nobody on the East Coast that to use that occult literature and claim the East Coast as a criminal base, as a criminal organization, as a base for a criminal organization. From the state of Maine all the way down to the state of Florida. The United States Justice Department TV it. The United States Justice Department tell nobody ain't no sorority fraternity. To go on the job, to be at your place in Florida, to go to the place where you work, and to harass and discriminate other people. The United States Justice Department didn't tell you that. They ain't saying nothing like that. But that's what the sorority and fraternity be doing. That's what the sorority and fraternity be doing. The East Coast bitch be using their occult literature and negative influence themselves as well as others with that occult literature. You know, these people in these so-called street gangs, the Blood gang, the Crip gang, the Bloodstone, Vintage Limestone, that's what they be doing. A lot of these celebrity athletes, celebrity entertainment, that's what they be doing. Using that occult literature. The United States Justice Department did not tell you that. So, don't let the sorority fraternity make a fool at you. Now I'm out here walking out here in the community on the street, go to work. Trucks come up to the warehouse. You know, you got all these different people working in the warehouse. These Mexicans, Hispanic, Latino, but there's a lot of these Africans working in the warehouse. There's a lot of other people. See, this is the reason why we do background check. See, there's a lot of people who thought that the people in the past had did something so ridiculous, be doing what they doing today. See, do background check on people in the past and the present. Do background check on people in the past and the present. Now, I'm gonna come back on my next video. We're gonna continue protest and speak out. I'm gonna continue to be an advocate for Mr. Sam Cook. Mr. Bobby Campbell Cook ain't got nothing to worry about. As you can see, he got nothing to worry about. Get straight to the point. You know, Mr. Bobby Campbell Cook is where that side rapper can go to them a lot of money. A lot of money. Millions. And time. That's not a way for you to try to get out of it. That's not a way for you to try to get out of it. Until next time, take care of yourself, which is the one you live with.